Sara Keel is the owner of Babycup. Now, Babycup is exactly what Piers was just talking about there at the end. It's a small business making drinking cups, but it's gone from her brilliant idea to really doing very, very well indeed. They're cups for babies, as the name implies. And hurrah, hurrah, 3 cheers for her. They are manufactured in the UK. Given everything that you're reading right now in the papers today and listening to what Piers chipped into that conversation, would you start that up now as opposed to when you did start it up, raised the money, got out there and did it?
Thank you, Alistair. Oh, well, that's a great question. I think I would still do it now, but I would have to be extra cautious and make sure that I had another income, because I think with the way things are going, not knowing how quickly it would get off the ground, what the barriers would be, how would I get funding? Yeah. I think I would do it, but I would have to know I had a safety net. Yeah. Because, yeah.
That's intriguing. And I'll underline there that, as I stress, because I know it matters to you as well, that it's UK manufactured, and that really does matter. So it's not only you and your immediate sales and marketing team, it's also people in the manufacturing sector who you indirectly employ. Therefore, if there's another Sara out there thinking of doing something similar to it, they might not do it now unless they had an alternative source of income. That means reduced growth, it means reduced employment, it means reduced profits and taxation. That's the formula that we're going to hear unfolding on Thursday.
I think that's exactly the problem. It affects so many people, not just in your direct supply chain, but in the wider community of everyone your business touches. It has such great knock-on effect, or rather not so great knock-on effect. It can be disastrous. And if, as the Chancellor keeps saying, everybody is going to be paying more taxes, that means less money in people's pockets, so less spending power. So instead of boosting the economy, it's going to be constricted further.
And stating the blindingly obvious, but for folk at home who are kind enough to be listening to our conversation, if you raise the taxes on ordinary mums and dads, that means that they have less money to go knocking on your door and say, I love the idea of that. Stop my little lovely one, my grandson Jimmy, spilling everything left, right and centre, because that'll sort it out. They simply won't have the beer vouchers to do it.
Exactly. It's going to be difficult. So you have to make sure you're creating a product that people need and they want, but also maybe stops them having to buy multiple other products. Yeah. So in the long run, or even in the short run, you save people money. So if you can look at a product that actually, although it is an outlay to buy it, but it means you don't have to buy multiple products. So that's what we've done with Babycup. But, yeah, the long and short is people have less money. And the Chancellor keeps saying the country is resilient, the economy is resilient. I think he's wrong. People are resilient. It's not the country, it's not the economy, it's people. But you can only push so far and then people will break.
The other thing that he says, and he's a politician, although to be fair, Jeremy Hunt did run his own business way back when, and of course the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, was a very high-level Goldman Sachs banker. So at least they do know a little bit about that particular world. But Hunt particularly says curbing inflation and the cost of curbing inflation is a price worth paying. You're at the front line of inflation. You know what they used to cost 3 months ago, and you know what they will cost tomorrow. Is inflation the bête noire?
I think this is a really difficult position for us because ultimately someone has to swallow the cost, and you don't want to pass it on to the consumer because they've got less money. That means I, as the manufacturer, I have to swallow the cost. But you can only do that so far until it becomes just, a fool's game.
Well, that was exactly my point to Carl Emerson, the brilliant Deputy Director of the Institute of Fiscal Studies. So if you're looking to sell that, it's either because, and you'll be successful, because I've got enough money left over after I paid my taxes, or you can still offer it to me at a price that is competitive. I mean, it seems to me that the formula on Thursday is going to screw me on both fronts.
Yeah, it's not looking good. I would urge the government to support small business. We are the backbone of the economy. If he really thinks that the economy is resilient, then he's got to do all he can to make that a truth. And I would also urge the government to support British manufacturing, because if we want to grow our economy, we need to export, we need to increase our export, not just our domestic sales. And as Piers touched on, with Brexit, there have come lots of additional challenges. So if he wants to support growth, something has to be done to support British manufacturing.
Sure. The Conservative Party is very proud, and indeed the United Kingdom, rightly, very proud that we've had several women as Prime Minister, but to the best of my knowledge, we've never had a Chancellor of the Exchequer who also happens to be a woman. So I'm going to make you Chancellor.
Great, thank you.
And I'm going to give you 3 sheafs of paper. What are the 3 key things, even now, still with 3.5 days to go, that you would love Jeremy Hunt to stand up there at the dispatch box, do that with his papers like a good newscaster, and say, here's my budget, I'm Sara Keel, and this is what I'm going to do. 1, 2 and 3.
Well, number 1, I would like to see a temporary reduction in VAT. Now, I know that is controversial, and there will be calls for where do we get the extra money from. But we have to generate spending power. Otherwise, as I say, the economy and the cycle of purchase just dies off. So I would reduce income tax.
And
reduce VAT, rather.
And VAT is
reduce
right
VAT,
at the cutting edge of consumption price.
Reduce VAT, absolutely. I would also not be looking to increase taxes on those with the lowest income. Jeremy Hunt is talking about everyone paying more taxes. If he's looking at increases in income tax, it's going to hurt people with the less income already. We know that proportionally that hits them harder than an increase to those who already have, higher incomes. And I would also look to do something that subsidises British manufacturing and actually try and get something moving in the economy. We have to generate income, we have to generate spend.
So finding that you can't do enterprise zones at the moment and can't afford infrastructure to help people like you get your product to the marketplace is not only short-sighted, but in your view, wrong.
Absolutely, short-sighted and wrong. And Jeremy Hunt keeps talking about, well, one, he's saying if we are in a recession. I think we all are aware we are. I'm not sure why he keeps saying if. But he said, and he said this morning, it will be short and shallow. I think, actually, even if it is short, he actually means it will be sharp because it will cut where it hurts, and that is not good.
Wow. Absolutely brilliant, enlightening conversation for which I am eternally grateful. And I'm going to break into my flow right now and give a plug to our YouTube channel, because if you heard that, do tell other people to tune in and listen, not only to what Sara Keel just had to say, the owner of Babycup, but also Piers Linney before that. They're not economists from the world of academia or the world of politics. They are a man and a woman at the front line trying to make it work for this great country and telling you, and there are the lovely Babycups, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Jeremy Hunt, and the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, what they want to do to provide you with great products at a reasonable price and employ people in the process. It's been a real pleasure meeting you, and thank you very much indeed. I wish you well. Maybe we, as I said to Piers as well, we can touch base again after Thursday and look into the fine detail of what it is that's happened and that real live impact on someone like you as a taxpayer, but also you as a manufacturer. Real pleasure meeting you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Alistair.